Welcome, family. It's Wednesday, spelled like that. And we're here to talk about and look over the markets, see what we trade today, and dive into some analysis. Let's get into it.
Hey traders from around the world, welcome to Wednesday, spelled with an I. Hope you are doing incredible. Today was actually Willpower Wednesday for me. All these weird names, which means that I did not take a single trade today. Day trade, that is, swing trades, some of them did trigger, but no day trades, and today really was an exceptional day for trades as well. Another one. Had a really good gap up. Last night we did a great job playing some futures in the, where's the RLT Slack group? Let me kind of bring this up over here really fast. So yeah, we did some really good job playing futures, and it was nice. So, last night we were looking at going long. We was talking about kind of like a setup with this pullback right here off of the 20 EMA on the intraday time frame. So here's this 5-minute chart. And what I was looking at early yesterday was this move right here. So pretty much just a pullback into this zone. It's a nice little bounce. A little bit of a double bottom, right? Made a new high and then buy that dip. It's pretty much the plan. And then once it started breaking down, I was like, okay, it's going to come right back down to this gap right there. Test that gap and then bounce. And that is pretty much precisely what happened. So a few people making some good money on the E-minis last night. Tonight, once the market closes, we'll see exactly what it looks like. But probably same status quo is just look to buy a dip and probably get in around 2.814 with a stop at like 2.810 and then target, up here somewhere. So yeah, should be good. Anyway, the SPY, gorgeous retest gap today. Very pretty. Retested like it was supposed to. Filled the gap, right? Very small gap, and then just bounced, and all is good. Square up 2.43%. I do have some weekly option newsletter calls open between now and Friday. See if we can get filled on a $2 pullback. Might not happen, but we will see. I love the bounce that we're getting on Square. I love these put sales down here. Bull put spread. So Square making some good moves. Really happy about that. NVDA, big bullish candle, gapping up, retesting. This is a strong spot for NVIDIA to bounce. Don't know if it will, but it should. Even if it's just for a few days, this is where NVIDIA should bounce. I'm keeping a very close eye on NVIDIA over the next few days for a little bit of a continuation higher. Tesla was up 1% today, 1.5%, and you gotta love this high wave bearish candle after a white candle gapping up. One white soldier yesterday, gap up today, perfect, a little bit of an indecision candle. So if Tesla opens above the high or the low tomorrow of today's candle, it really could be a nice move. Here's WYNN. So I had some stocks requested today, which is great. My buddy Bob has a 110 put sale for December on WYNN, which means he does not mind owning some shares down here at 110, although it's a long way to go between now and December. Here's the monthly moving averages on WYNN, and what's interesting is the 200 simple on a monthly is at 98.74. It's a really cute little spot to be looking at going long on WYNN. The weekly chart, we're a little more on the sideways scale, and the daily time frame, we're just kind of chopping around. So it looks like the broader market. And what I would say on that aspect is, if we continue higher, if we get a little bit of a gap up, a little bit of a move, you have a bearish candle today. Tomorrow is going to be very decisive, and later in this week, we will see if we actually are going to get a specific bounce out there in the markets. Although I think we do, we don't have to. So I'm keeping a very close eye to see if we do break down any kind of lows or start taking out the highs. Tomorrow, which is Thursday, and Friday could be very interesting and falling into the next week, but I don't have any trade on WYNN. And if I did, I probably would have bull put spreads or put sales below this 200 simple on a monthly chart, about 98. Bullish to neutral on WYNN. What else do other people request? Oh, yes, Intel. INTC. So Intel is consolidating down here, and it's going to do this for a while. This gap will fill at some point. And here is the weekly chart on Intel. So again, I do not think Intel is done and going to zero. Although, I guess theoretically anything is possible, I'd be very unlikely that's going to occur. So trading down into these support zones, I would think that the lowest Intel goes is probably 38. I mean, again, I'm thinking that's like worst case scenario. where we trade sideways, trade into here, bounce, trade into here, and then pop out from there. So if that happens on Intel, great. But realistically, what we're doing on a daily chart is just trading sideways and consolidating. So we're hanging out, trading sideways, consolidating. We could easily break out of here and start bouncing. This is a buy low, sell high, longer term accumulation area on Intel. So if you're playing it that way, that probably realistically is the best way to play it. Here on the daily chart, I love this little candle. And again, similar to a lot of other gaps and candles that are opening right now, if Intel gaps above the high of today, that baby is going to fly. Kroger, the biggest grocer in the country. Here's the monthly chart. The reason I'm zooming out to a monthly chart just so we can see the trend. And, it's bullish and you have massive pullbacks. That's pretty much what happened. Back in 1988, Kroger almost went bankrupt apparently. Trade higher, big pullback. So really from 1999 all the way to like 2012, it just chopped sideways. And we could be experiencing a bigger version of that. So if you want to kind of find some patterns from here, I mean, here's a big move, and then you had a big trade down, then a trade up, and some consolidation or rollover. And we eventually ended up making a new low, and I made a new low into the 200 simple on a weekly before we bounced. So I'm just looking at these patterns from back over here from 1999 to 2012. We could repeat that. It's certainly plausible. Now, Kroger is, in my opinion, a long-term blue chip buy low, sell high stock. The daily time frame doesn't really exude that much greatness. You did have a retest gap right here, black candle, gapping down, gap action, gap down, retest number 1, retest number 2, and she's continued to go a little bit lower. I don't specifically see much on Kroger presently. If I was forced to go bullish, I'd probably look to go long at 22.43 right here. Buy there with a stop at 21 and some change, and then protect myself over earnings and more or less just fingers crossed to see if Kroger in fact bounces up on earnings. But overall, it looks a little bit on the downside, like we could trend down a little bit lower and just start chopping here for a while. So no real greatness on Kroger. Speaking of greatness, Starbucks. Oh man, hashtag Moon Lambo. Look at this monthly chart. And I do want to give a shout out to my good friend who watches every stock review that I do, Sammy. Sammy was in Nashville in person, one of the first people ever, I think the first person potentially, to do a in-person coaching session with me. And this was back in 2017, right around here, where Sammy was talking about Starbucks as a really good long-term buy low, sell high location. And I said 2017. I apologize. It was 2018. Back over here, July time frame. And yeah, that's when it made it brand new low. Right, everyone was panicking. Starbucks. They were coming out with, I forget the news story that was really bearish on it. Obviously, it wasn't that big of a news story, but it was something like they made someone mad at a drive-thru or something. Anyway, it was a really dumb news story. Pretty ridiculous, and big breakdown, and we just crushed it from there. The interesting thing is this gap actually did trap tons of people, right? Loads of people trapped right here, getting bearish, and then they just got smoked, and it never has looked back since. What's interesting about Starbucks is you've broken out of this distribution phase, right? So we trade sideways for around 3 years, and then we broke out. And when we broke out, we retested perfectly. Bang, bang, bang. What more could you want? So right now, Starbucks straight up bull city. Trend is gorgeous. It's going to keep going for a while. Buy the dip, and those pumpkin spice lattes are coming out again around the corner, sometime in October. Trend is bullish. Everything is confirmed. Bullish. The trend is great. Buy the dip on Starbucks. No brainer. Let's see. And I had two others. HSDT. Helios Medical Technologies. We're bottom fishing if we're playing this one. And a little bit of a volume spike today. Huge upper shadow. And I'm sure if you were watching this one, you probably wanted it to close above 315, and it did not. So what I would say on this particular stock is just wait for it to close above this 315 resistance, retest, and then buy low, sell high. This thing, I mean, Usually when I play companies like this, if I'm really bottom fishing on a medical technology, biotech, one of those things, is I put my stop as far away as I can. So I'd probably have a stop at $1. I'd look to buy in around 250, and I'd buy around 250 only if I can get a close above 315 and then expect it to rotate lower. So we'll see, but that's my thoughts on that one. And then Rave. Sounds like a good time. Rave restaurant groups. Yeah, some volume is coming in on this one. Here's the weekly chart, and we are getting above the moving averages. This stock was much, much higher in 2015, 2014, could recover. And the good news is, yeah, you're above all the moving averages. We're battling the long terms right now on the weekly chart. So what I'm thinking on the daily time frame is probably something either like this and like this, or like this, this, and this. Let it break out a little bit higher and then buy the dip. But we could start watching it. Not a very expensive stock. Volume is okay. It won't have options, but you will be able to buy some shares, and you shouldn't have a problem getting in and getting out of Rave Restaurant on an actual trade. Again, I did not place any trades today personally, but Brad Reed led the real-life trading team to make some serious money on ROKU. Shout-outs to Angela, Claude, Charles March, just incredible trade on ROKU. It was a beautiful gap. White candle gapping up above an all-time high. Gapped right above this resistance, really trapping everyone who shorted here on the 28th, and it just kept on going. Here's the 5-minute time frame on ROKU, and if you don't know how to play that as a retest gap, sorry. I feel like I did not do my job well in teaching if you didn't get a chance to play ROKU today. Here's the short-term retest, and here's the bigger retest. So ROKU, I mean, just churning and burning. One of the strongest stocks out there. Quite impressive and semi-incredible to see what this bad boy is doing on ROKU. Also, my good buddy Ryan LeMay playing Campbell's soup today. Hard to be bearish on that chunky chicken noodle. Big gap up on Campbell. He's had a nice upper shadow yesterday. Some people certainly were trapped. And again, this was the retest gap of the ages. Look at this really beautiful pre-market hammer high wave candle. I mean, your entry probably around here somewhere, stop probably down there somewhere, and definitely did not lose on Campbell with a bullish play today. So again, good job Ryan for snagging some gains on Campbell. Nice gap, and this is on a monthly chart actually is recovering. Inverted head and shoulders pattern down here is Campbell's. They pay dividends. They've been around for a bit. So, buy low, sell high. That would be kind of how I would approach Campbell's. A lot of great stuff down the pike, folks. So many good trading opportunities just around the corner. ZUO is a swing trade that we got triggered into today. Pretty much at the exact low of the day. The low of the day was 13.96. We got in at 14.02. Just going to see if this gap actually fills or fades. We're going to find out tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow is going to be a really important day in the market in general. Get ready. Be prepared. It's going to be a blast. I'll be there. Hope to see you all there as well. And for many of you, you probably got the email with the links to the free week, which will be in July. You might think that's a long way away, but it's not. About a month and a half away. It's going to be super exciting. Sarah Quick crushed it again today. Congratulations, Sarah. Very well done, and very happy that you just dominated it. Getting so many good messages about just traders straight up first degree murdering it out there. Proud of you all. And until next time, which will be Friday, love life, live life, and trade it. Bye.